I do like our logo.
Oh, here he comes.
The light's going to turn on any moment. Good evening. Welcome to the Chaska Human Rights Commission meeting for November 20th, 2025. Welcome to our viewing audience, and good to see all of us tonight. Thanks for being here. First up on our agenda will be the roll call. Elise, would you be so kind?
Commissioner Hubbard?
Here.
Commissioner Welbert?
Here.
Commissioner Duffy?
Here.
Commissioner Meade?
Here.
Commissioner Hanan? Commissioner Sanderson? Chair Carlson?
Here. Thank you so much. You should have all received the agenda. There's one other item that's sitting beside your chair this evening, along with the belonging message, and we'll talk about the action plan for 2025, looking for 2026, a little bit later in the agenda. But if there are no changes or deletions or other additional items we should discuss, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda, please?
A motion to adopt the agenda with the additional topic.
Great. I have a motion. Is there a second?
One second.
There was a second by Kichi and Martin, so we could probably record both of them because I think I heard it both at the same time.
Or arm wrestle.
Or arm wrestle, absolutely.
Martin wins.
All in favor, if there's no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. Ayes approve it. Great. We don't have an open forum this evening or any guest presentation, so we'll move on to approving the minutes. The minutes were sent out. I do have a comment about the minutes, but does anybody else have any additions or changes to the minutes? Under item 7E in the minutes, it looks like the transmission did not pick up the glass closing part of the Cultural Heritage Month Celebrate India. And I don't know if you go back to that, Elise, or...
I'll take a look and see.
Okay. And that's the only thing that I saw for the minutes. Does anybody else have anything? If not, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 23rd, 2025 with that slight addition of finishing a sentence I believe that's missing?
Motion to approve minutes with the additional change.
Second.
Thank you, Kichi, for making the motion. Thank you, Kevin, for seconding it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes carry. Thank you. And then the next thing that we have to talk about is the treasurer's report that's in our packet. And any comments? Oh, please, Elise, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Chair Carlson and Commissioners. I think this is very similar to what you saw last month. We are just getting final invoices in from the Celebrate India event, which will be updated for next month. What you do have on here that you didn't see last time was the donation to Latino Voices that you approved at the last meeting. But we will work on getting it updated. Generally, as we look at things for Celebrate India, it came in under the budget. And so some of this money will go back into your balance for the remainder of the year.
So my only thought was, didn't we initially approve $27.50 for the Celebrate India event budget?
Yes, so how I have it accounted for on here is I've taken out the event center rental and the storyteller out of the $27.50, which would leave you essentially $750. But you'll see in your overall budget, I have credited the Friends of the Chaska Library donation and the Lions donation. In the end, it all washes out. It's just how I've accounted for on this sheet. So
Okay.
you're all within budget. The additional expenses for Celebrate India obviously all fall under that $27.50 amount. So it's all good. It's just the way I accounted for it here.
And today, I received an invoice that I forwarded to Kevin, which I believe he accounted for in that message that we both got around 5:30 today.
Okay.
So that was for $500,
Okay.
and he said he would process it and send it to the accounting department.
Okay. I will check in with him.
Okay, great. I also dropped off a $50 check earlier this week
Okay.
from one of the vendors.
Okay.
And I understand that there is an additional vendor fee of $50 that was coming in, or maybe it's already here. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to sit down with Kevin and see what's come in, what hasn't. I know he was asking about some of the donation checks. So we'll account for everything. You'll have a full review in December then.
That's great.
But your budget overall is sitting very healthy at this point in the year.
That's great. Are there any questions about the budget that we would address to Elise? Great. Then may I have a motion to approve not the budget, excuse me, the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Jennifer. So a motion's been made and seconded to approve the treasurer's report for November 20th, 2025. If there's no other further questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes carry. Excellent. So next up on our agenda is our Cultural Heritage Month. Gosh, it was a busy month. Let's see, first up was the Katrina Festival. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Jen?
Did we talk about the ofrenda besides approving to donate to it? Or, I mean, because was that
Right,
set up
we
after
approved
our
that at our last meeting, right?
Meaning you approved it and you got a quick presentation on it. at the
Right,
last meeting.
but then we set it up after the
Yes.
meeting, correct?
Correct.
So should we start there and then?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So, the ofrenda, which we have set up for many years, or at least supported Latino voices and setting them up, started out very small several years ago, and now there are two really nice large ofrendas at the community center and at the event center for people to come and place their memorabilia or their photos of loved ones, learn some information about what an ofrenda is and what the different things mean that are on it. And it's just really a team effort to put them together. There's a lot of creative, making some of this shelving and stuff. But in the end, it really is it's really nice to have the team work together, and you know, it's all in the spirit of family and friends anyways. So it's really cool to be a part of that each year, I think.
And then we participated, as at the Human Rights Commission, at the Katrina Festival.
Yes.
So a variety of organizations were present. Many people came.
There was a Katrina parade and contest. So anyone that wore a costume walked across the bridge, and we saw everybody, you know, show their costumes and everything. And then it was really neat because they did it last year for the first time. this year there was, I would say, double the amount of people that were in the parade. And they also got some traditional, like paper mache objects. I don't know what to call them. I don't remember the actual term, I'm sorry. But it was something that's traditional in the Day of the Dead celebrations, and that was in the parade, and they had just beautiful artwork that came across the bridge, and we got to watch them, and they'd bring it on bikes, so it just kept moving. It was really cool. I'm not sure what else to add.
We participated in kind of a scavenger hunt. The kids all had to visit each table, so they were exposed to the library and to us, Carver County Public Health, and hopefully hear a little bit about what we did, like, oh, who are you? And then we would stamp their little card. So that was fun.
Oh,
And-
there's a dance.
And the native dancers.
Performance, yeah, from the Aztec dancers. They're always amazing.
So really a very cultural-friendly event here in Chaska. And then last week, we had Celebrate India. So it's been a very busy month, very busy month. And Martin was with us at Celebrate India. Do you have any thoughts about that event?
Why you put me on the spot? It was a good, it was the first time I have attended. It was well attended. We had a lot of residents that came from various places within the Twin Cities. We were able to sample food from India. We saw, I want to say some students from Minnetonka High School were there. Correct me if I'm wrong, and they talked about India and stated facts of what's going on. It's people dressed in their traditional clothing. It was a fun event to attend. I felt very welcomed while I was there.
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen more people from Chaska there, and maybe next year it'll be bigger. So that's my 2 cents.
I think the one message that I heard from one of the folks that came through the door was, I didn't know that my community could celebrate my heritage. I thought I had to go to St. Paul or Bloomington. Maybe there's another festival in Richfield also. But she said, I am so happy to be here. And then when I said, well, which community do you live in? Thinking, I want her to say Chaska. And she said, well, I just moved, I just bought a house in one of our neighboring communities, like Carver. But I said, that's okay, thank you for being here. But she was thrilled to have the event celebrating the Indian culture here in our community. So it was great. Yeah. Lots of positive feedback for perhaps future events in that area.
Yes, the thing I heard the most for constructive critiquing is that people wish they had known beforehand so they could share the information with others to invite them to it.
Yeah.
So I think we're always working on trying to get ahead of our events a little bit more, and it's really hard, but I think that means it makes a big difference, when people can make plans with their friends to come and stuff. Because I know I posted some pictures on my Facebook, and people were like, I had no idea this was going on. So I think, we could get some more folks from the community that would be attending if we do something a little more.
And for the two of you who were not there, there's our program. And you'll see that our Mayor Hubbard was there and must have taken probably 100 pictures with people. So it was just great to have the Carver County Commissioner for this, I guess, the
First
city of
district.
First District, yes. Lisa Anderson also came. And so it was fun to have her there, so that she too could go back to the Carver County Commissioners and say, hey, this is pretty good stuff happening in Chaska. I also know that at the mayor's luncheon recently this week, our mayor talked about our Celebrate India event. And so that was just like, we're doing this in Chaska, so go ahead, Carver, Chanhassen, Victoria. Be a little envious of what it is that we're doing in Chaska. So, at any rate, good stuff.
Chair, if I may.
Yes, please.
Huge shout out to Kevin Wright and the amount of time that he put in, especially as he was trying to prepare the mayor's speech for the luncheon. On top of all that, he did a fantastic job putting it together, helping the
We
the
did,
commission and
he
committee,
did, and
so.
I thanked him profusely. He has been just a real supporter of that event. And I'll share one other story. The city of Chaska's basement is a hallowed space. This is supposed to be a funny story. So, as you know, the Human Rights Commission keeps various supplies of the Human Rights Commission in the basement. To get to the basement, one has to seek approval. So when I was returning our Indian event supplies, I called ahead and I said, please authorize me to enter the basement. I felt pretty honored. I entered the basement. I was able to put our Human Rights Commission India tub up on the shelf, and I left with everything in the basement intact. So, just,
So it's
but
safe
it
for
was
next
Kevin.
year?
But it was Kevin who authorized me to go to the basement, so I appreciate it, Kevin, if you're listening. And thank you, Elise, for sharing that and recognizing Kevin's contributions to the commission. We had a good steering committee. Kichi helped guide us in terms of getting our vendors and our performers. That was just great. We partnered with a local community organization, and that was wonderful. So all in all, just a terrific event. So let's talk about Dr. King, shall we? Britt is not here this evening, but Britt, Hannah Sanderson, and myself, along with Stacy Nelson Kumar, have been working and planning on behalf of the commission for the Dr. King Festival. And so, and Kichi. Well, I was going to say that Kichi has agreed to be the host or the MC for the event.
Great.
So, we're pretty excited about having Kichi do that. I don't know if you know this, but Kichi is also, can I share this?
You can, you may.
A comedian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That could bring a whole new light to
A
the breakfast.
whole new light to the breakfast. So it's pretty exciting. But I wanted to share just an update. We do have a guest speaker. Well, Kishi, do you want to bring us up to date on this?
Yes, Ethelyn Kaba is our guest speaker. She is part of the founder of, or is CEO of the Bancroft Foundation, so, and she's also a friend of mine. So she has graciously accepted to be part of the MLK celebration. So I'm excited for that. And I sent over her bio to Elise this evening. I don't know if you got that, but, and then there is a fee that she generally charges, but it is negotiable. So that fee is $2,500. And I say negotiable. So she's like, just let me know. There you go. I will give her that, that bit of information. And I know that she would be fine with that. At least, that's what I'm saying right now.
So in addition, Stacy Nelson Kumar is working with Mr. Johnson with the middle school choral group. So they performed last year, if you recall, and they'll be coming back. We have some additional fees this year that we're anticipating to some degree. Not unusual, not out of line. The guidelines that we have for our guest speaker would be an honorarium not to exceed $500. The Chaska Event Center rental fee will be $400 for this event. And we're proposing books, the purchase of books. And this, I've prepared a list utilizing recommendations from Kelly Brenny, who is works for the Equity Department in District 112. Kichi, Hannah, and Stacy have reviewed the list. We've made a couple of changes on the list. It comes to $401.37. The goal of the books, just to remind everyone, is that we'll have them as centerpieces on our tables. And then through a series of maybe identifying something on a chair or something, each person will be able to take a book home, and they'll be labeled with the Human Rights Commission logo inside as a gift. And the book titles range anywhere from for toddler to adult. So a good combination this year, I think, of books. Additionally, we plan on having coffee, although we're hoping to have that at a reduced cost. We're exploring that option. We've received a gift card to offset the purchase of fruit. We're estimating pastry items because we like to provide a light breakfast, not to exceed $100. We will have the engraving the plate and the plaque that is presented to the Human Rights Award winner, because this is when we do award that designation. And then a basic miscellaneous cost I've thrown into our proposed budget of $50. So I'm proposing on behalf of the subcommittee that the Human Rights Commission authorizes $1,700. Know that every effort will be made by our committee, our subcommittee, to hold costs down and expand the partnerships that we have within the city to help support it. But I'm excited. I'm thrilled to hear about the Anne Bancroft Foundation, which provides for girls to see their opportunities in our area. Ms. Kaba is well-known. She has an excellent reputation. I'm looking forward to her comments. Anything else you would want to add?
I have a question. Sorry.
Yes, please.
What is the name of the organization, charity, or what does she represent, the name of it?
Anne Bancroft Foundation.
Anne Bancroft Foundation.
I'm sorry, I heard something else the first time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I apologize.
If I said something else, I meant to say Anne Bancroft.
Nope.
Okay, yeah. So certainly, by all means, look that foundation up. I think you'll be pleased to see the community work that that organization is doing. So I guess I'm formally asking on behalf of our subcommittee for any questions, but for a total to be authorized of $1,700. Now, some of those costs can be from this year's budget.
I was just gonna ask that.
What?
I was just gonna ask that.
Yes, absolutely. So we anticipate hopefully we could purchase the books this year from our existing budget. The other expenses, because they occur in 2026, will need to come from our 2026 budget.
We can probably actually get the event center rental under this year's budget too, and you do have enough budget to be able to do that.
Oh, that's even better. So that means going into 2026, and now you're going to probably ask, how much have we asked for in the 2026 budget? Is that what you're going to ask me?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to ask.
There is, right now, sitting in the budget, which has been preliminary passed by the city council, is $7,000. Their final budget, the truth and taxation notice is Monday the 1st, and then they will vote on the budget and final levy on December 15th.
So final, but proposed certainly. I think going into the 2026 year, that amount will help us cover core events that this commission will want to do in 2026 very easily, I think.
I have a question about the books. Did you say how many books we were purchasing?
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not say that. Let me quickly count.
Oh. I don't need an exact figure. It's just,
I believe it's 35.
okay, so there would be more than one at a table. That's what I was wondering, if it would just be one per table, or are there gonna be several people that get to go home with books?
I think if we can, that would be great.
Okay.
One of the things I heard last, and it was not a criticism, it was just well, this is obviously a child's book, and I don't have any children left in my home. So I suggested to the person who received it to donate it to the library. So, and certainly the small toddler books that are less expensive are in paper, and we could certainly combine that with another book. But we have prices which are subject to change, I realize that, with books ranging in price anywhere from $6 to maybe $15. So, and the city will order those books for us using their account. I check prices just utilizing my Prime Amazon.
I just think that's been a good addition to the event the last few years. Just people really like going home with something they haven't read before. I know there were some people at tables, they said, oh, I've read this, or I have this, and so they give it to their neighbor, or what, you know, whoever else was at the table. So it's I think it's a great addition to have.
So you're asking for $1,700 for the MLK breakfast
Yes,
in
sir.
January. And out of the $1,700, you're saying $400 of that money can be spent this year for room rental, reserving the room.
Yep, as well as the $400 for the books.
So $800 total can be spent this year.
Yes.
So next year, then we'll spend about $900 out of that year's budget, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we're only getting an additional 500 possibly out of next year. So we'll have 7,000 maybe. Okay. And I'm putting it out there, so I would like to see us start budgeting for each event instead of someone saying, okay, we're gonna need 3,000 for this event, and then it takes away from another event to say that, okay, every event we're gonna spend, I'm picking a number, $1,700, so we know we can work with that $1,700 and kind of work backwards from that. I'd like to see us go in that direction, if that makes sense. Because it might be, I say that because we do put on a lot of stuff, and it's like, okay, if we spent $2,700 on the India event, or we budgeted that, if we didn't get sponsorship, I mean, that's a lot of money. Does that make sense? I'm not saying we shouldn't, because it was a great event, but we need to start budgeting and thinking, where do we want to spend the money, and how do we want to spend it? Does that make sense?
I think it really does. And when we talk a little bit about the action plan for 2026, I think something that would help us focus on is identifying what are our core events? What is it that the Human Rights Commission wants to convey through educational events or community-wide events or cultural events? It makes sense to me that we've had a great list of things that we wanted to support, and through no fault of anyone, just haven't been able to fully get behind that particular event or activity. So, Martin, your comments are very timely. And I think that it's going forward, this commission should look at each event within the budget that we've established, or that we've proposed, our working dollars, so that future commission members, it's great to have sponsorship, it's great to have partners that help support those activities, but that commission members are not placed in the position to go and have to hustle, if that's a correct word, go and pursue funding if it's not readily available. So I was happy to do it for the India celebration. We certainly received good support from the Lions Club and the Friends of the Chaska Library, plus some of our vendors. So very thankful for that financial support and promotion of our community within those organizations. I do see our Dr. King event as being, can I use the word premier? Event for our area, because we know that residents of the communities that join us come to our event and speak so highly of the community activity and the speaker and the inspiring words. So I'm pleased that we can be able to afford it next year. I think that is one of our premier events, one of our core events that I think we do very well. And I think that the city would like for us to continue doing that. There may be other events that we do in 2026. Certainly will be up to the commission to make those decisions.
How much can we, I'm throwing this out there for next year, right?
Yep,
Because a lot
good.
of us won't be here in December, so we need to have this discussion, especially with new people coming on. And how much, because Sarah does a lot of hustling, right? She's the only one that hustles and brings in this extra money. Without her hustling, we wouldn't have an extra $2,700 or whatever it is, $2,000. I lost my train of thought. How much of this can we put on to another department, such as Park and Recs? So we'll take the Pride. I'm just pulling that out of nowhere, right? We're gonna take Pride. How much of this can we partner with them so they use the money out of their budget? Where we just kind of direct them as well as partner with them some kind of way to get them to spend the $2,000, so, or whatever it's gonna be, so we can allocate our funds elsewhere, where we can give to Latino Voices, or we can give to wherever, cut a check. Does that make sense?
But that brings up the question too, are we here to fund other organizations? I mean, I think we have used our dollars wisely, but we need to decide, are we prioritizing our core events? Or are we prioritizing, let's go out and partner with everybody and give a little bit and be a part of their event?
I think bringing them in and partnering with, I don't have a problem with giving someone money. None of us get
Right.
paid, right? So trying to be everywhere all the time is not working. We know this, right? We're begging each other to be at each other's event instead of, if we can get, and we have plenty of people within the community who want to do things, and if we can, and maybe it's not always money, maybe it's just us showing up, but if we can somehow partner with them to help their event and do our job, which is educate the community, I think that goes a lot. It'll go farther. Does that make sense? When we use other people, they can advertise, they can talk to their friends, they can talk to their community, they can bring those people in. The more we reach out into the community.
And I think, I mean, I've been here a long time, and the commission has really changed and grown in how many events that they're a part of and how many they themselves put on, and I think we should be proud of all of them. But I think we, like you said, we can't be everywhere all at once. We can't spread ourselves too thin. So I think it is, to your point, a good idea to say, okay, these are the things we're gonna do, and we're gonna do them well. And then, like, really focus on how we can get it so it can be sustained for future commissioners to have a plan of how, like, kind of what to expect,
To go back to your original question, I think that if you are asking Parks and Rec to help with the Pride Festival financially, bring them in on the planning part of it, so that way it's not last second. Oh, by the way, here's what you're doing, and here's how much it's going to cost you. Like being able to invite someone from the Parks and Rec board or a staff liaison from the city, so that way they, or at least are aware of during the planning process, have a voice in the planning process. That way they feel like they have the, not just financial investment, but also they had their voice heard before we asked them to financially pitch in. So being aware of and conscious of asking them to be a part of the planning process for the Pride event or the cultural heritage event or whatever event that we're asking them to financially contribute to, either financially or with their time.
I agree with you, but I'm gonna add this to it, that they're all full-time people, they get paid, right? And so having them, how do I put this? So I've watched Kevin for years, and I've watched her as well, and they get worked to death. They do their full-time job, and then they have to do our job because we've waited to the last minute. I'm not gonna lie, there are some times you just can't show up, and somebody's gotta plan it, and they do it at the last minute, and I think bringing in these other parts of the city that have time and that's what they get paid to do will help us and help us be more successful. I think we've moved, I don't know, when we started at 0, we're at a 10 now, and we're at 10, we're at our max. How do we get past that and sustain it, right? Because she's off next year. The following year, I think you're off. I'm not sure, off the board, right? And then the following year, I'm off, right? Which leads you all, and then whoever's new and whoever keeps showing up, how do you sustain it, and how do you keep coming up with this new ideas, and every year it's something new, and every year someone changes something that you did that was successful, and it doesn't work out, and then we gotta start over again, instead of making sure, I can't think of the word, but making sure that, like you said, everything is set up for the future, and it just keeps flowing, and you can kind of tweak it as it goes.
And I will say, I mean, we can talk more about the resource center later if you want. But when we were at the ribbon cutting for the Family Resource Center, I talked to a number of folks that were from different organizations throughout the community and said, how can we partner with the Human Rights Commission? I mean, they really expressed interest, and so, I mean, we need to maybe just create a running list of this group would be great to help out with this, you know, and we have like go-to people to partner with and help fund things, because they probably have some room in their budget to do some outreach or something.
And the more people we bring on, the easier it is to plan ahead. Does that make sense? Because you're gonna find that person that's like, I'm ready to plan for 2027, let's do this, because this is what I do all day long, type of deal. And it
Right,
makes it easier.
exactly. And Parks and Recreation has been a great partner for us in the Pride event, particularly the Pride event, but in so many other ways. I called the lodge last week and asked, can I borrow your water dispenser? And by the way, can I have your cups of crayons? And for the Celebrate India event. And so there are many ways that our other city partners that we've designated in our strategic plan help us. I wouldn't want our viewers or for anybody to misunderstand that we're not saying that others aren't doing their job. They are. We don't always see what they do for us. But I think that in fairness, as we look ahead, particularly as we think about 2026 and we look at how new persons will join us in February of next year, which, by the way, is a plug for all of those who are viewing. Please look to the city pages and submit your name to be part of this exciting group. Applications, I believe, are being accepted for various positions on commissions in the city of Chaska. So put that on your to-do list. And if all of us have friends, please tell them it's time.
I
But-
would add to that too, that if people have friends that attend one of our events and express an interest in it and would like to be a part of the planning committee, I mean, we have had some community members who are not on the commission who have been invaluable to planning some of our events. And so I think that it would bring a whole new perspective. And it's not necessarily cash, but it's bringing different connections and different ideas than what we've always done. And so I think that if someone says, I really love that, you know, or they give an idea of how it could change, and say, come and join us for the planning, you know, would you be interested in that?
Absolutely. So, we kind of got off on a tangent. But all good discussion items. We do need to think about partnering with our other organizations, partnering with, and you're absolutely right, Martin, we can certainly look to other organizations within the city network to bring some of these ideas that we have to fruition. That's why I really like thinking about what an action plan looks like for 2026, knowing what we've done this year, knowing what our capacity is for next year. And maybe we don't do all of the things that we said what we are going to do, but we focus our intentions, our educational efforts on specific events where impacts can be felt.
All that being said, going back to your original request for $1,700, I say you move it up to $2,000. You've already, you know, you're taking $800 off and gonna spend it this year. That leaves you whatever it leaves you for next year and make the event memorable, right? And that room is always full, so do you have enough orange juice? Do you have enough pastries, donuts? Do you have food? Whatever it is that makes it comfortable, are there, you know, is there gonna be something for kids? Is there gonna be something for adults? What does it take to make that
We have
event?
tablecloths.
I mean, we know what our core events are, and it's MLK, right? We know it's gonna be, the Pride event. We know it's gonna be, celebrating India. So we know that we do those things well. We know we're gonna help Latino voices when the time comes. So we know those 4 things are gonna be great, right? Some of the things that fall off, River City Days, no one wants to be there, right? And so why bother to do it or spend the money and the time?
That was a question I had, I mean, River City Days is a lot of fun, and you know, but my question is, what's our purpose there? I mean, we can go and attend and even probably hang out at the city booth for a while and say, wear our name tags and say, we're part of the Human Rights Commission, you know. I don't know that having a booth and going through all the work that we do for that booth, or that you do for that booth, you know, but I
it
think
goes
that
to,
we haven't used that as an opportunity to necessarily educate, or, I don't know, that, and I think that's our primary goal as this commission, is to kind of educate and involve the community in things, and they can spin a wheel at some other booth, you know, so I don't know. I've been thinking about that too.
it's not even the money portion, it's getting the commissioners to be there, right? So I don't wanna be there for 8 hours. Sarah shouldn't be there for 9 hours. And so it's like, where do we draw the line on some of these things to say,
Yeah.
we don't need that? Or we sit with the city and, you know, whatever, somebody's gotta be there regardless however it flows, right? And so, you know, it's one of the things we don't need to do, and we take the rest of this 7,000 and put it where it's gonna be effective in what we wanna do this year, and say, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and then partner with Parks and Rec. You know, can they get a DJ? Do they have a DJ? How much can they spend on a DJ? How much ice cream can they bring in? Or, you know, how many shirts can they buy? You know, we don't, you know, we're spending money on swag. Do we need swag?
Well, and certainly, you noticed on our agenda that we have swag items to discuss, but it does beg the question. Kichi, I know you were with me at River City Days. You were there for a period of time. Martin was there. Rand Lesueur, who was still on the commission, was there. But you're absolutely right, Martin. It is a, and the idea, I think, was to engage our community. So people would see us, want the swag, of course, because we thoughtfully selected it. But they would engage with us and talk about what it is that human rights means here in Chaska, and how do we develop our belonging community, a community that belongs to everyone here. I'm not sure that we always are able to do that at River City Days. Kevin, you were there this past year too. So, I mean, what did you think? I mean, about being there? I mean, was there, not that, I mean, meaningful engagement doesn't have to occur, but some level of who we are, what we do, and why it's important, I've always thought was a good platform for us at River City Days, but maybe it's not needed. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it was my first time attending River City Days as a Human Rights Commissioner. I felt like there was a lot of traffic, but I don't know if it was educating per se. So I think using the platform to partner with the city of Chaska and having a representative there might be more impactful. But that's my just first time attending, so I'm not sure. As far as the swag, it was very hot. So the fans were a hit because people were hot, but I don't know if that's necessary to have. I'm not sure if they'll be like, oh my God, now I know so much more about human rights, the Human Rights Commission. I don't think that's the case. So I think that time could be revamped or spent elsewhere possibly. So
And I think about some of the other events we talked about, like the, you know, Day of the Dead celebration, or even, I don't know, we've done some other things where we've had a table, and it's just to promote the Human Rights Commission. I feel like some of those have been more, I don't want to say appropriate, but they're the right time to talk about it, and it's the right time for people to have the frame of mind to say, oh, what is this about, you know, and when you go to River City Days, you go there to have fun and to run around and see what's going on everywhere, you know, and so, and I think that's important too, because it's really a community event, but it's not necessarily where people go to learn. So maybe think about, you know, what kind of other events we could go to that might make more sense for the group to be there.
Kevin, what do you think?
I think that I like the idea of maybe like having some of us sit with like the table with the city, and then using that as a way to like we work with the city, we work with Parks and Rec, and I agree in the fact that, you know, maybe being at, you know, what's that event? It's in the summer. It's like the Latino event where they have all the dancers.
The Food
Yes.
and Music Festival.
Thank you. Yes, that one.
In September, yeah.
Yeah, like having a table there, and that would be a more appropriate use of time of, like human rights, you know, you're working with this instead of, because I feel at River City Days, people are just like going from table to table, what swag do you have, 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 not really listening to what spiel any of the tables have. So I think our time and money could be better spent elsewhere.
I will throw this out. I'd like to see us get rid of River City Days. But I will throw this out. Those events are events in which people pay money to advertise. So we could come up with something that states what we do and put it on swag and hand it out. And that way people are educated, they get it, it's at home, it's on the shelf. So you have that option. I'd like to see us get rid of a lot of events because we don't show up. And because we don't want to show up, or we don't have time, or we're on vacation, and that leaves then the bulk of things on someone else. So even though we say we'll sit with the city, who's going to sign up to sit with the city and talk about it? So we need to think about that too and have an honest conversation with ourselves. What events do we truly want to sponsor, and what are we able to sponsor throughout the year? Forget about the money, but our time as well, right? Because we're already working 40 plus hours a week. What more do we want to do? Does that make sense? And put our extra time into. I guess that's what I'm trying to throw out there. Does that make sense? Because sometimes I feel that we are forced to do things that we may not have time or want to do sometimes. Does that make sense? So, and we feel stressed when we get there. So I'm just throwing those 2 cents out there to think about next year.
Well, great discussion, but I have to go back to your motion. Because you made a motion, and I don't know if we received a second on your motion. I believe you made the motion. Would you like to repeat your motion?
I don't know what it was. I think we should increase the MLK breakfast budget to $2,000, and that we should spend $800 this year towards MLK, leaving $2,000 for next year's budget towards MLK. So that's a total of $2,800 spent on this event. $800 spent this year, as long as we have it, and then up to $2,000 available for next year.
I would second that. I think that's a good use of the money we have remaining right now.
Motion made by Martin, seconded by Jen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve the MLK event for a total of $2,000, spending $800 in 2025, and the balance being spent in 2026. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Thank you. The subcommittee meets again on, I believe it's December, I don't know, I have a paper copy, paper.
The first week in December.
Yes, I was gonna, oh, well, of course. Yes, on Friday, December 5th, so we'll be working towards more finalization, so thank you. We'll, Keachy and I will share that with our subcommittee members. And of course, just because we have a subcommittee working on the Dr. King event does not mean that we don't welcome everybody else's input. So if you have some ideas or thoughts, please share them. Okay. The only other thing I wanted to say about the Dr. King celebration is that nominations are now available for the Human Rights Award. I know we've received one to date. Have any others come in? No. Okay. So if you, through your network of folks, have someone or an organization that has contributed to furthering the rights of folks here in Chaska, please get them to fill out the nomination form. It is on our webpage, and I believe that there has been a couple of Facebook postings, Blue Sky, all the social media sites that the city is on.
I didn't realize the city of Chaska is on Blue Sky.
Aren't we?
Blue Sky?
Blue Sky? Oh, apparently not, Kevin.
Never mind.
We'll ask Kevin Wright, or Communications, we'll ask them.
We are not on Blue Sky.
The Communications Department has spoken from the ceiling and has informed us we are not on Blue Sky. I spoke erroneously. Okay. Nevertheless, nominations are welcome. Now, in December, we will review those nominations and make our selection.
When is it due by?
When is it due by?
December 9th.
December 9th.
Yeah.
And just, we'll receive them and you will get them all the Friday before our meeting so that you have time to review. There is a scoring criteria and that sort of thing. And in the work session, so December 18th, that meeting, we'll have a work session prior to the actual meeting for you to have a chance to review and discuss. And then at the meeting, you'll take action on who you select. So that's kind of how the process works.
Yeah. So new business, gallery exhibit. I'm assuming that the gallery has reached out to you, or is this based on our brief message from the gallery?
This message came to me last week from Park and Rec. As you know, in the community center, there is an art gallery, and that is generally, they set each month, things change. And so Park and Rec works with the Carver County Arts Consortium. They plan to do a Pride exhibit in June. And I think this request certainly gets up the discussion you all just had about partnering with other organizations. They have asked if there would be any interest in partnering with them on this exhibit. They did not discuss any sort of financial contribution or anything like that, but if there's any interest. So henceforth, I am bringing that forward for your consideration this evening.
I'm interested in at least.
Did they say how they wanted us to partner?
They did not. The message I have is they would love to partner with the Human Rights Commission on this if they are interested. And I think from there, I think if this is something you're interested in exploring, I don't think you have to commit this evening, but if you're interested, if it's Commissioner me or whomever, we can get that commissioner in touch with the coordinator there who does that, and the discussion can begin.
I'd say that would be a wonderful opportunity. And the art projects that we've accumulated for the couple of years that actually occur at the Pride event, it would be a venue in which they could be displayed. I'm sure they're somewhere, and that would be terrific. And yes, how exciting! So,
Commissioner Me, would you like to be the person that works? Okay. I will include you on the correspondence so that they can get connected with you then.
Sounds good.
thanks, Kevin, for volunteering to do that. That's exciting. That's great.
This is a timely invitation too with our discussion tonight, so.
Absolutely. So do you have what you need from us?
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, swag items. Well, this is very interesting, based on our discussion that we just had. So where do we give swag out? Well, we give it out at River City Days. I guess we could give it out at other events that we participate in. This year, we did not participate in the Carver County Pride, although I did receive a message this week asking if we were interested in doing that in 2026. I think it was because we didn't have anybody to go. But that would have been a tabling event where we would have sat behind a table, talked about what it is that we do, and hand out merchandise or swag. Other events that we've tabled in the past have been in conjunction with the city and with Carver County when they did an event at the event center. So in light of our discussion, what do you think about swag? And we've got the staff, again, thank you to the city staff for pulling together these items that we could consider. What do you think? It clearly
Just
looks
some
like
sense
we'd
of-
be spending at least $500.
I would also note, Chair, that you do have, I went down there and counted everything. You have 89 available items from years past already down there and available for your use.
89?
Yep, I've listed them in your staff report there. So
Thank you.
7 bags, 18 Frisbees, 28 water bottles, and 36 hand sanitizers, just to give you an idea. And those that are being passed around are just samples of some of what we've listed here. So if you want to like physically see.
I will say, well, we don't know where we want to give away swag or if we want to give away swag, but I did like Martin's idea about having it somehow convey what the Human Rights Commission is or does or stands for or something like that. It's something that we could use, it would be versatile to use at different types of events. So we don't have just a pride thing or just a MLK thing or something,
Something that came up during our last subcommittee meeting for the Dr. King celebration was Commissioner Sanderson mentioned a round button. And so that idea and the cost is on here. that you can take a look at. But that was something that she had brought up to maybe what we put on it. We'd have to talk about some more, but that's something different than the swag you've done in the past.
And that's the thing that stood out to me on this list, and just as an example, I'm not saying we use this saying at all, but I know someone who handed out buttons once that said kindness is power or something like that. And it was just a real general statement, but it stood for something. And, you know, people would just like put it on their bag or put it on their jean jacket. And it was just kind of a neat thing, you know. And I mean, that doesn't say what we do necessarily or who we are, but it would give a message that the commission believes in. And maybe have a logo or something on there.
If you were all to think about, over the years, you've collected items from July 4th celebrations, River City Days, all this stuff. What's left in your house right now?
The sunglasses.
Okay?
The clip on the refrigerator.
Chip clip?
Yeah, chip
Magnet.
clips for sure.
Magnets.
It's a magnet, or, no, I have two. One is a magnet that clips onto the refrigerator that I put stuff under or on. And then the other one is a clippy for chips. Not to say I eat chips, but,
Oh, and a bottle opener. But
oh, a
don't judge
bottle
me.
opener.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Martin? What do you have on your shelf?
I just cleared out a drawer yesterday, so that's why I asked this question. I think, this is my wife. I hate to put her out there like this, but she likes to bring home bags. Just like bags, right? Whatever bag. And then you get all this free stuff. So we have Frisbees, and I just cleaned out the garage. So some of these things went in the trash, like Frisbees that we don't use. Pens, we have all kinds of pens. Don't
I'm
throw
a
away
sucker for
pens.
a good pen.
Yeah.
Is that
Sure.
I'm a sucker for a good
Pen.
pen.
Glasses, she just threw away a lens the other day because the glasses fell apart. I don't know where we got them from, but they fell apart. So I'm kind of putting out, you know, what do people hold on to? And what do they use and what's going to sit in their house so they remember us? We do have a lot of mugs. Mugs don't go in the trash, so anything that holds liquid, we don't throw away, for sure. Kind of the other stuff kind of fills up the junk drawer, and then you kind of toss it. But something you're going to look at every day, I think it's important. I think if we took the time to say, okay, I'm just using as an example, we got this, and then we put our mission statement on it, or we put what we're about, or we put something on there that's memorable, and then we go and hand those things out, I don't think they're going in the trash. I don't think it's money wasted. I think there's some value there. Right.
Even if it's a little bit more investment at the beginning, it will last a lot longer than a duck or something.
I think so, yeah.
I love the ducks, but I think they're kind of a trendy thing to put on certain Jeeps. I don't know what kind of Jeep it is, but it's a thing. But I think if we're gonna put something besides just Human Rights Commission, Chaska Human Rights Commission, that ducks, sunglasses, or whatnot would just be a waste because size is limited. If we want to put like mission statement or something, Frisbees, bags, or mugs would be a better investment just because the space to put all those words on it.
I know last year, we had water bottles that we have 28 left. Well, it is always guaranteed to be the hottest weekend in the summer is River City Days weekend. And our water bottles were very popular because people would take them immediately over to the water fountain and fill them up. Now, do they keep them? I imagine they made that water bottle made it to their home. They're fairly durable. I think that they were long-lasting, but it just said Chaska Human Rights Commission on it. I have to agree that the ducks probably aren't something that are long-lasting. And I don't have a Jeep.
What about notepads? You know, like, you always pick up little pads of paper places, and they have like advertising at the top and maybe some small print at the bottom saying their slogan or whatever, you know. But, I mean, I'm constantly using notepads to just, you know, remember something, so I would guess that would be a fairly inexpensive thing that I don't think people would just throw away. I think they'd use it.
I do. I threw a bunch of them away. I'm not gonna lie.
You should recycle.
My mind goes to, you know, and I'm just using it as an example because it's in front of me. I'm not gonna throw that away because I see it going in the landfill. It's not gonna get destroyed. But as for something else, you know, like the lip balm, I just threw 2 of those away because it may have been used. I don't know who used it in my house. I don't know if they were sick beforehand. I'm not gonna use it. It goes in the trash because they're not gonna remember either. But that's just my 2 cents. I'm up for whatever we wanna do. I would like to see it last, you know, and I think I said this a couple years ago or last year, year before, if we get, and I'm for cups, right? If we get a cup and put something on it, we can always partner with the vendor if we wanna do River City Days and say, okay, the coffee business that was in front of us was very busy, so we get a bunch of cups, paper cups, right, or whatever or plastic cups, or whatever it is, and say, hey, we're gonna partner with you, we're gonna give you these cups, you're gonna sell it, you're gonna make profit off of it, and you're gonna be the one handing it out, we don't have to be there, and our message is out there. Or we split it between coffee cups and, there was an icy guy out there, I think it was like slushies or something, here's some plastic cups. So our message is going all the way around without us having to do all the work. Does that make sense? I'm trying to be smarter and not work so hard anymore, but make it effective. But I am up for anything.
Well, I think the question has to come down. One, is this something that, it sounds to me like we've kind of talked a little bit about the value that we bring to River City Days as a booth. And that we could continue to do that in some way by partnering with the city, or maybe partnering with Parks and Recreation, that we would share a booth, or we would share our time with that, with others. So I'm wondering, maybe we don't need to order as much swag if we want to kind of work our way out of doing the River City Days event like we have traditionally. Order less items, and then with a goal of in 2027, maybe not, although that would be the commission's decision to make, I guess, in 2027. But I
would like to see us not order. I would like to see us wait to the event, or whatever, whoever's planning that event to say, so we'll go out to the Pride event and say, okay, we want T-shirts, we know we need T-shirts, but we also want to give away, because you know the people, you know your people who are attending, we want to do, I don't know, Frisbees. And so we order the Frisbees that we need, and we only order what we need to hand away, and then we don't have excess. We know we're going into River City Days, but we don't really give away swag at River City Days. We give away candy.
because really that's all.
What the kids want, because parents don't want to spend the $50 for the slushie. And so they come and do the free spend, they get their candy, they go off, they come back, do their free spend, get more candy.
You got it down.
You know, and I like to look at what, each group does something different, right? What can we buy that will fit into Celebrate India? What kind of trinkets would fit into that? Does that make sense? Where we could buy what we need for that, right? Instead of giving away hand sanitizer there, that's not appropriate. But what would be appropriate? Would be,
Or even spending money on something like find out what candies we could do from India or
Yes.
something, you know.
I don't disagree with anything that you said. I like the idea, not thinking swag, but I like the idea of a button. Lots of people wear buttons on their jackets or pin it to their purse strap, or I see it on their dashboard, in their cars. The bags have always been a big hit. Now, I was just in Minneapolis the other day, and they charged me a nickel for a bag. Now, so, and that's, and maybe Chaska will get to that point, we don't know, but, so I always thought that the bags, the water bottles were really cool last year. But of all the items that I see on our list as potential, I like the button idea, because I'm thinking we could have I'll say a generic statement, but I have no idea what that would be. But we would have that, and we could use that throughout the year at other events, like our Pride event, like our cultural event, like Kevin's suggestion being at Latin Music and Food Festival, having a booth there.
And then also add like what Martin said, do the 100 Frisbees or whatever we need for that certain event, but we would have the buttons consistently.
Right. I don't know, I like that idea. But Hannah suggested the buttons, I think it's a good one. Particularly like the fact that we could have it at multiple events. And then each event that the commission chooses to say, we're gonna do this in 2026, these are our 5 or 8 or 6 or 4 events, that group would then say, this really does warrant a Frisbee, or
Yeah.
fill in the blank. And I wanted to just remind the commission that the reason why we are looking at this event, or looking at this opportunity now, as we have in years past, is because we always have had money left over in our budget. And you'll recall that our money does not roll over. Once 2025 ends, we begin all new again in 2026. So if there are any remaining funds, we don't lose them, they return to the city. So,
I will say one more thing about buttons. I'm on Team Buttons. When we have had events where there has been a button maker there, people
yeah.
go crazy
Kevin, you
to
remember
make their
that, yeah.
buttons. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that people just really like buttons. I don't know. There's an expression, it's saying what's important to them and stuff, and they can literally wear it on their sleeve.
Yeah.
But are they designing their own buttons and making those buttons? Or is everything
Well,
pre?
At
Yeah.
the Pride Festival, as they were.
Yeah,
But
I
in
don't
this
think I went
case,
this
no.
last year, because I think that word.
But in this case, I wouldn't say they would be designing their own, but we could come up with something that the commission stands for, that we really think that other humans are gonna stand for it too and believe in, I mean, because there's a lot of people who believe in human rights that aren't on our commission. And so, they might be ready to put on one of those buttons.
Could we do something that is, sorry. In my mind, I'm seeing something that's valuable. It has value. Is there a button that we can make that is more valuable, that has? So when I went to the Veterans Day celebration at the high school, they gave us ribbons and little wooden tokens To me, as a veteran, those things are valuable, so I will keep those things. Even grab something for other people I work with. But my mind, because I'm not a button person, so if you hand me this, what's gonna happen to it, right? I'm gonna throw it in the trash, because I'm not gonna put it in my clothes. When I was younger, I did it and got holes, got in trouble for that, so it's gonna go in the trash. But something that is more pronounced, or something that's there that sticks out, I'll keep and wear every now and then. Does that make sense? So, and I don't know what that means with the buttons, but can we get something that's more solid with the buttons? Something I'm not gonna throw away, because if I throw it away, I know it's wrong. Does that make sense? So I'm not gonna throw away American flag, and I'm just pulling that out, American
Yeah.
flag, right? I'm not gonna toss that in the trash. I'm not saying that's what we need to buy, right? I have some other pens that I wear that I would never throw away. So I guess I'm just saying, put some, like, oomph into whatever it is.
So going into a totally different direction, for something that we give out at every event, how do you feel about pens?
To be honest with you, I don't throw away pens. We have pens. We have
How do you
drawers
guys
full of
feel about
pens.
pens?
I never throw away a pen.
We gave pens for our swag many years at River City Days, and people loved them.
I throw away the cheap pens.
They were
don't
great
throw away,
pens. I
yeah.
still have some. I mean, I don't let anyone borrow them. I love them.
I
This
have the
was a
same,
swag
yeah.
pen,
It's like a good pen.
Yeah, it
and
does.
it is a good pen. And when I write, if I have to write like a check,
Yeah.
one of those rare things that people do anymore, but I will grab this pen out of my pen deposit, pen
Stash.
place, stash, overall, because it writes well, it feels good. I can use the little tip on my phone if I wanted to. But, so this is not your, I'm trying to see if there are any inexpensive pens sitting here.
It actually does. I have the same pen here. I order these for my business. They're not that much. So you can get 50, you can get 100, design your pen, and it's within our budget. And you can put whatever up to a certain lines. This one I bought. This one has 3 lines on it. You can figure out what you want to write in there. It'll fit. But
Can you put a logo on it?
this one, you can. This one doesn't, but I have put logos
Yeah.
on, phone numbers, websites.
This one has the, I can't read, Microsoft logo
I mean,
on
it's
it.
gonna be small. I
Okay.
get that, but
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily cost, let me shut up. I think it didn't cost me more, because I'm cheap. It didn't cost me more to put my logo in there.
well, and I think that it was pretty reasonable for when we did it. I mean, that's why we could order so many of them.
Yeah, I'm generally looking on the website where we order things. I think for the nice ones, like looking at, a gel pen, so it writes a little nicer with a stylus on the top. You're talking, for 500 of them, they're $445. They're less than $1 a piece. And that allows you to get your logo, this company that we use, you put your logo on and anything else.
I say if we get swag, usually when I'm going past a booth, like buttons are cool. I put them on my lanyard for work. But that's not generally what I go to. It's the good pens and the cheap sunglasses, because I lose my sunglasses or break them. Which is why I usually go for the cheap ones at giveaway tables. Yeah, and I have my collection of good pens that the clients at work can't use, because they're the good pens. So if I'm going up to a table and they have swag, I'm usually looking at the buttons and putting it down, and either grabbing a pen and or the cheap sunglasses.
Okay. Your experience?
I am not a pen person.
Okay.
That's just my personal thing. But pens, I definitely use. Sunglasses, I'm kind of a snob when it comes to sunglasses, so I don't tend to to do those. So it would be pens or a water bottle or a mug or bottle opener. I know that's not one of the choices, but those are the things that keep everything else I toss them. Bags are nice, but usually I forget them at home when I go to the store. So that's,
Are you able to check mugs?
What sort of mug would you like? Like that? Like a,
What kind of mug were you talking about? In my mind, I was thinking coffee mug. What were
A
you
coffee
thinking?
mug?
I was thinking coffee mug,
like a tumbler?
like a tumbler.
Yeah.
Oh, a
Yeah.
tumbler, okay. Hang on here.
And that could be used any generation. So you also have to think what everyone would likely use.
And maybe it's not just giving these things away, maybe it's raffle. Or they have to work to get it, right? So if we invest in whatever we're handing out, whether it's buttons or pens and we're putting a little money into it, that they have to do a little effort to get whatever item it is. I don't know what that is for that event, but who knows what, maybe it's scavenger hunt at one event, right? Where they can, these are the items that you can get, or maybe it's karaoke at another one. If you win the competition, you can have this, or best dressed, or whatever.
So you're kind of looking, depending upon the quality of what you're looking for. It's appearing to range depending upon the number you order too. $6 to $9 for each one. No, some of them are more. More the one kind of like what Jen has is going to be more than that, more than likely. That's kind of a coffee tumbler. If you're looking for a tumbler with a straw, it's gonna be less expensive, about $3 a piece.
And does that include like a logo or printing on it?
Yes, this company that we use, it generally includes the cost of putting the logo on.
If we ordered something today, do we have enough money in the budget to pay for it this year?
Yes.
And I think sometimes we've talked about it, thought about it after the November meeting, told you at the December meeting, and you order it quick before the end of the year.
I
The
mean,
invoice doesn't come in.
So,
that's a little bit of my worry and why I wanted to bring it forward this month.
okay,
For consideration. I think if you can give me some direction and vote and say, this is generally what we want, we'll spend X amount, we'll do, because we can't do email votes, and so I'd like to just, I gotta figure out how to do this so that I can get your approval to move forward. Obviously, I want you to see what is kind of chosen. That's why I'm looking as you're talking here.
I say we do pens because I feel like we can get more bang for the buck.
And remember, you do have how many tumblers?
We have got about 60, 3, 4, 5, 6, well, maybe 75 items left.
Yeah, you have 89 items, 28 of those are water bottles. So as you're thinking about some, like a bigger piece that you might want for,
and how much are we left with for the balance this year?
I figured you can spend about $800 on swag and be under budget.
So let me ask this question, because I know we're like, oh, we gotta pick something, we gotta spend this money. But outside of River City Days, what other events do we hand items out? And if we have 89 items here, could we use those 89 items to hand out at whatever these other events are?
Well, I do know that Sarah and I have been at some tabled events, and we felt kind of awkward because we had a tablecloth with our name on it and some flyers, and that's all we had at our table. So I think there could be room to have some events that we do hand things out at. They aren't like big events that we are putting together, but they're events where one or two commissioners shows up just to support that event. We've done like a community, I forget what
It's
that was.
Project Connect.
Project Connect, yeah. And we've done a few more events like that where there was just a whole bunch of organizations there and people came and asked about what you were about.
Is there a reason why you didn't hand any of these items out? And I'm trying to get to the root.
Because in my mind, they were designated for River City Days. I didn't even
Okay.
think about it, honestly.
Okay. And that's what I'm trying to get at. If
Yeah.
we buy this stuff, are we gonna hand it out at any other event other than River City Days? Is where I'm trying to go. So,
I think possibly, depending upon the items that we have, I could certainly see something at the Pride Picnic, yes. If we did a booth at Latin Music and Food Festival, every vendor that was there at the event in September had stuff they were giving away. And some, you spun the wheel. I mean, I think one of the tables that was very predominant there they were giving away these wonderful bicycles. Electrical bicycle was one of their gifts. Of course, you had to, probably sign your life away, but I don't know that. But everybody had a swag item that people, when you looked out in the crowd, you could see, because some of them had lights on them. Now, maybe they went home and then went to the recycling bin or to the trash, but lots of swag. And I would think that would be a venue that we would give something away. So Pride and an event where we would be in a public space where lots of people walk by. Again, does it say Chaska Human Rights? No, but maybe we could have conversations. It's like River City Days. What have you got? Candy or a bag? Pens, yes. I think pens we could,
I think, in my own opinion, I think we're rushing to buy it because we waited
Okay.
till November to say, okay, let's buy this stuff. We got money at the end of the year, let's buy it, as opposed to it being pinpointed at what we want to do. I mean, if we're gonna, all these other events, the reason why I asked, did we hand things out, is because are we thinking ahead? Are these events that we had planned, are they last minute? And then could we have asked for this stuff to be brought over to be handed out? And can we use the 89 items and say, okay, at this event, we're just gonna put 20 out, we have flyers because we're here to talk about human rights. Ask when those things are gone, they're gone, and we use that. And then when it comes to Pride, we're ordering, I don't know, ducks. I'm just picking something out of the air to say, okay, this is what we're gonna give away. I think we should be more specific and pinpoint what we wanna do when we wanna do it. Because there might be, maybe it makes more sense in the fall at the India thing, I'm just pulling it out because it was cold out, right? It's cold during this time, to hand out mugs that say human rights and something with India on it. So those people who come to that event have it, see our name, they can understand that. We buy something for the Pride event that has, I'm picking things out, flag on it, Human Rights Commission, City of Chaska, blah, 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 blah. It's my memorable thing for this event, and I keep it, and I don't throw it away.
I think that's a really good point. I think next year it would be a really good way to think about things. But right now, it's November and we have $800 and we don't know what
And
we're
that's where
gonna
I'm
do
going,
next
because now you're
year.
saying, we've
Yeah.
got $800, let's just spend through the $800 so we
Right.
have it to hand out. but we still have 89 things.
But I don't think that, I really do think that if we had something like pens, that would be something that could last for, I mean, we had pens last us for many years, and we handed them out at different things, but they weren't event specific, and they weren't a message specific or anything. They said Chaska Human Rights Commission, and I think they had the logo. And so I don't think that that's a waste of money necessarily. I don't know that we have to spend the entire $800, but I think part of it could go towards something that we could just have as, when we go to smaller events and stuff, just to kind of represent the commission and, you know, who we are, why we're there at their event.
Let me just tell you real quickly, the kinds of events that we talked about we were going to do, hopefully do in 2025. Dr. King Celebration, Black History Month, Civil Rights and Humanity Engagement, Women's Recognition, Asian and Pacific Islander Recognition, our Pride event June, River City Days in July, Cultural Heritage in the month of September, honoring first inhabitants and tribal nations that continue to thrive today for Indigenous Peoples Month, Veteran Acknowledgement, joining organizations to thank all who honorably served in the military during wartime and in peace. So those are the kinds of things we said we might be able to do in this year. And obviously, we've done some of them.
I have a question.
Yes.
So if we're not able to agree on like swag and spending that $800, are we able to spend that elsewhere that would be more impactful?
Sure.
We can't donate it to someone if that's what you mean. We've asked that before, and no, it has to go back into the city budget or the city account or be spent. But that's a good question.
What were you thinking?
I was just thinking like, as far as, you know, food inequity somehow. I mean, I think a lot of people, and somehow in some way, but I don't know if we can't donate it, what else could you do besides?
Yeah, I think we would be restricted if we said we wanted to give something to, say, our local food shelf.
Yeah, I'd have to check with our
Yeah.
finance department on that.
I mean, I recognize it must be a 501c3, but I don't know, we would let the accounting department experts handle that question, but I'm a little hesitant about that.
I know several years ago when we asked, we had it intended for a 501c3, and it was not permitted, so.
Okay.
The food, like once a month food, like giveaway thing that Kevin posts on the Chaska city page.
Chaska Cares.
Is that what that is?
Not providing money toward that.
No? Okay, never mind.
Okay, so as I hear it, maybe we don't spend the $800. Maybe we utilize our supply here, and then carefully look at each event in the 2026 year. If swag is needed, we order it then. But I would say that if there is something that we can do that would impact our community, that would send a positive message about what it is that we do, and we have the funds available, then we should seriously think about what that would be. Or we can order pens, have them as an available item along with our 89 other items, and again, encourage each event that we have in the 2026 year to, if they want swag, that they would look to ordering a specific item for that particular event. I think those are the three options. Do nothing, do something, yeah, and then third
Pens.
option is pens.
What's the do something again?
Do something that we could do this year before the end of 2025,
Okay,
utilizing those funds.
okay. Like, put on a quick event that costs $800 or something. Is that what you mean by
Yes, a
using
quick
it for
event, but
yeah,
I don't know who would do that, but
right. And when? Because
Yeah.
kind of crazy time of year.
If we need pens, if we want to do an item and we do pens, not just to spend the money, but it's going to be here for, it's specific or whatever, we order pens, and how much is it going to cost for 100 pens?
Like 500 pens of a good one was like $300 or something like that.
So we buy the pens, but keep it, and I want you to think forward now, that we have, at the end of the year, $800 or whatever it is to spend on swag now. If we take that money and then push it back into 2026 and say, your Pride event has an additional $200 to spend on swag or whatever that number is.
we can't do that.
You can't go to the next year with
That's not what
that.
I'm saying. Think about where we are now in 2025. We have an extra $800 that we could have spent earlier in the year on other things instead of at the last minute trying to buy swag for next year, where we can make it, okay, MLK event, you have an extra, on top of the 2,000, whatever, you have an extra, whatever it is, $200 to spend on this event for additional swag. You have an extra $300 to spend
That
and so
makes
forth.
sense.
That way we're not, that's my 2 cents for whatever.
Okay.
And I'll shut up beyond that. And then you do have pens, or you do have something hand out at like the Health and Human Services
Right.
event or whatever it is, in addition to the 89 items or whatever.
I think at this point, since we haven't all kind of unanimously decided one way or the other, we go that route and just have it be event specific, use up the 89 items we have left over, and at the end of next year, sooner than November of 2026, reevaluate where we are.
Okay?
I mean, that leaves $800 on the table, and at this point, it kind of feels like so be it. And just be, like you were saying, more intentional for 2026.
Why is everyone looking at me? I'm just throwing out there. There's 4 of you and only 1 of me. I guess my motion would be to buy pens. I don't know if we need 500 of them, but whatever we need, I don't know what you said, but buy pens, and then the rest of the swag be specific to the event or whatever, or if we decide there's something else that pops up, we could do that or something.
Second that motion.
Okay. Motion made and seconded, motion made by Martin, seconded by Kevin to purchase a pen of higher quality. Does that give you enough direction?
It does. We'll.
Can you tell us the price breaks? Is it
At $250 or
a better
$500?
deal if we do?
The more you
lower?
order, the better deal you get. But they don't have specific price breaks. I mean, they do, but it's not like at 500 it's this. At 100 it's a.
Okay.
So you
sliding
want a
scale.
dollar amount.
I would love a dollar amount.
So, Martin, do you want to reframe your motion? Not to exceed?
Is everyone okay with $500?
Yes.
Yes.
So Martin's
I don't know. what my
revised
original-
motion, are you comfortable with that as a second? Okay, so as a motion, we have spend up to $500 on pens with our logo on them. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes carry. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, our message for this month lifts up, I'm sure I have it here. Can I just take a look at this? There are two things here. One is the Native American Heritage Month. I think it's fitting that we remember the Native tribes and those from Alaska as part of the National Native American Heritage Month. But then I also wanted to include two other things. One is the land acknowledgement that we use at the Chaska Human Rights Commission. And we use this, to the best of my knowledge, only at one time throughout the year. And this is what we use when we open the Dr. King celebration. And that's written at the bottom. And I don't know if that's officially the city of Chaska's. I know that we began using this quote maybe 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I'd have to go back and listen again, or look at the scripts. But I thought that that was important, that you would see that that is a message that we say at the Dr. King celebration. The other, thinking of Native Americans, was this is a brochure that the Human Rights Commission did some years ago. I do not know the date of this particular flyer or brochure pamphlet, but I thought it might be appropriate that in the 2026 year, we would take a look at this in light of the improvements that have been made at City Square and see if there is updated language. We could consult with the Chaska Historical Society for updated information on the burial mounds that are there in our City Square Park. We might be able to get guidance from the state of Minnesota. And I know that the city has been working with the state on updating the City Square Park. So I don't think we've shared this with the commission and thought it was appropriate that we include that in our belonging message for the month of November. Our next meeting date is in December. And as Elise pointed out, we'll have a work session prior to that event. It's really important if you can block that time on your schedule. I think we normally begin at what time?
It depends.
I think we determined this
I
now.
think it'll depend upon the number of applications you have to review. Last year, we only had a couple, so we just started a half hour early, which gave us plenty of time. If we have a lot more, it might be an hour ahead of time. I wouldn't say we would start it any earlier than 5:30, because I know that's tough coming from work.
Yeah. So maybe we could schedule beginning at 6 and then be really efficient?
Yeah, why don't I see how
Okay.
many we get? And
Good idea.
then if you get a lot, I just know in the past we've had longer discussions.
So we'll pencil in 5:30 and then you'll switch it to 6?
5:30 to 6,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I think pencil in 5:30 and then I'll let you know if it changes to 6.
So December 18th, be here. We'll do nominations for the Human Rights Award. We'll have a meeting. We'll have good stuff. We'll talk further about the long-range plan for 2026. So I wanted you to have a copy of that so you could think about it. Jen and I will meet with Elise sometime in the next 4 weeks or so to kind of make our recommendations for you to consider and to think about as we move forward in 2026. Any announcements? New job going well?
New job is going.
Okay, new job going well?
New job is going well, and if you ever need crayons, markers, or colored pencils, I'm your person.
Ooh. And officially with Crayola, right?
Especially with Crayola,
Wow.
as of last Monday, yes.
Any announcements, Jen? Oh, did you want to say something about the,
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, it's not really an announcement. Well, I guess I'll announce that the Family Resource Center is officially open. We had the ribbon cutting ceremony on Tuesday this week, and there was a great turnout. Lots of different county and different community organizations. There were lots of tables. They were handing out pens and other things. But
and I thought that would have been a place for us to be.
yes, yeah. I mean, but like the library was there, public health, Mikasa, different organizations from around the area, and they all have a part in. They will have some presence at this community resource center at different times. They're not all there all at once. Right now, the Community Resource Center is only open 3 days a week, and they have a calendar on their website of which organizations will be there to assist with different needs, although they always have kind of navigators to, help you say, okay, we're going to steer you in this direction. Why don't you come back on Wednesday or whatever, So even if you go and the people you need to see aren't there, they will get you in touch with them, which is really cool. I'm very excited about it. And then the other question, I had a question, and this is not an announcement, but somebody asked me at this event, actually, we were talking about the Human Rights Commission and then just some different things in town. That led to the question, wasn't there going to be a Hispanic grocery store in the Cooper space? How is that going, or
Yep.
what's an
Yeah.
update?
Earlier this week, a few of us went down to Richfield. Supermercado Loma Bonita just opened there in an old Rainbow space. That is the same group that is coming here to Chaska, so we asked them that question. They'll be starting to order equipment in early '26 and construction starting mid-'26. So hopefully by this time next year, you will see that open. If you get a chance, go down there. It is fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and will be a great addition downtown.
Good,
And they are excited to be in the community.
great. And then my other question was, we had talked about getting an update about City Square. And
Yeah,
you said Nate was
unfortunately,
gonna come?
Nate was not able to make it this evening.
Okay,
We'll kind of see how the agenda plays out for December. That might be tough, but we might look at January.
Okay.
He's aware, he just wasn't able to make it this evening.
all right, that's all I have.
Great. Martin, any announcements?
No.
Well, I want to thank everyone who worked so hard at the Celebrate India. It was great to have a new cultural experience for us all. I look forward to seeing all of you again in December. Glad things are going well for us. And with that, oh, and one more shout out to Kevin Wright and the city staff for all the work that they do in conjunction with us to bring events to our community that build, that tie us together. So thank you to the city of Chaska. If that's all, then we'll see you in December. Oh, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a wonderful day. And if you don't, maybe you all get a day off. That's good. So thanks. see you in December. Having no other business come before us,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
there you go. And we will adjourn.